continue. However, they may not add to the required minimum number of people that must be called up to the Torah. 43. So let me read the commentary and we explain. Generally, when Torah is read on Shabbos morning, it is permitted to call to the Torah more than minimum 7. However, when there is no longer Minyan, they may not end to additional areas. So on a weekdays, we have to call only 3 people, and they say don't add to this 3 because why? It's prolonged the prayers, and people they rush to go to work and stuff like that. So now you want to be extra pious, don't do that, right? So in this case, for example, if there's circumcision in a shul, and you want to call a father of the baby, and you want to call Sandak, the guy who holds the baby. So you ask Cohen to leave, basically, ask him to step out the shul for a few minutes. So they call, so they have 3 aliyahs instead of 1, meaning Cohen, Israel, and Cohen, Leib, and Israel. No, so Israel only 1 aliyah. So you ask Cohen to step out, and you have 3 aliyahs. So basically that's the solution. So, but on Shabbos, since in the holidays, since nobody is in a rush, and plus it can produce some income, generate some income for the shul, right? So they can call extra people. And according to Rabbi Ovadia, does it sound? So if as a Chachamim also, so they say if you must call somebody, there's a very rich guy, and he donates to the show, but the only problem that he marries Christine or his cat, I don't know, whatever he marries, and they cannot say that you cannot be called for whatever reason. So they can give him, or they try to bring him closer. So they give him aliyah number 8, number 9, number 10. You understand? But not one of the required 7 aliyahs. Basically, that's the thing. Okay. So that's but it's a big problem. So I always I never got a question what they do in Sephardic shuls, because in Sephardic shuls you bet you bid for aliyahs, and if you won, so you go up, right? Well, what is the guy is married to Christine? So what do you say? He's paying, right? It's a hard question. So in Ashkenazic shul it's very easy. So the Gabbai calls whoever he wants, and they do mishaber, and they ask for a little money, or when the guy say I'm going to donate, I don't know, whatever money to the shul, but he's not obliged. He can say I donate $18, $36. It's going to be sound a little embarrassing, but he can say it. So. Or they don't say anything at all, for example. So in this case, it's easier to regulate. So this Gabbai can just keep, especially when it's bigger shul, it's easier not to call on people. If they know that not exactly Shomer Shabbos. But in Sephardic shul, I'm not sure what he would do. I'm not sure. But he has no right to call that person if everybody knows that he marries to this Christine.
Is he allowed to pick up the Sefer Torah at the end or no? Like, I mean, when he shows it.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry. Thank you. So we can always give him this aliyah to open the Aron Kodesh, right? To close it, to bring the Torah, to leave the Torah. So these things we can help him because it's a much lower sanctity. Even though they say the one who rolls the Torah. So in Ashkenazic shul, when you roll the Torah, he has a schar, he has the reward for all of the mitzvahs combined, for all of the aliyahs combined. But we go by it's kabbalistically. But normally, to be called to the Torah is the biggest. Okay. So we said we allowed to finish. So they start with Minyan. People left. So you allowed to finish, no problem. But you cannot add to the allowed number. Okay, continue. And they also may not call up a person for a maftir. Rather, the last of the number must be called to the Torah, up to the Torah, and reads Haftarah, without reciting the blessing accompanying the reading of Haftarah. So maftir is a last guy. So of course it's on Shabbos holidays. So basically, it's the guy for whom we repeat last last paragraph, last several psukim. So he's like number 8. So we call him up, and then he's the one who reads Haftarah for prophets. So let's see commentary number 44. On Shabbos, after the 7 aliyahs are called up to the Torah, the maftir is called. The maftir recite the blessing on the Torah, and part of the Torah reading is reread, as we said, last few verses. After which the maftir recite the blessing on Haftorah, and Haftorah is read. The Torah reading that is done by the maftir is not technically required. So I mean, it's extra. I mean, okay, and thus it is omitted when there is no longer minyan in the synagogue. So it's very interesting ruling. So let me explain what does it mean. So in during I think it's the period of the second temple when Romans were in charge. So they and some period of time they forbade to learn Torah. So what we did? So I mean, Torah for them it's Chumash, 5 books of Moses. That's it. That's for them Torah. But when we say Torah, we mean 24 books of prophets and writings, everything, right? Tanakh, right? So when we start reading this section from our prophets, right? That have at least some idea that parallel with the weekly parsha, right? So when we say one idea is always the same. Sometimes it's main idea, sometimes it's idea that you did not realize that there is a connection. It's very always similar wording. Okay, so and in order not to forget the whole procedure, so we had the 7 people called up for these prophets from books of prophets, and it's proper to have all of this Haftorah written on a scroll, not in a book. In most of the places they read from printed book. That's not proper. I mean, after the fact there is no problem, but proper to read from the scroll itself. Okay. So and they would call 7 people to the Torah as we call to the Chumash, right? And 7 people would say 7 blessings, right? So now if we're going to call this guy, right, to this guy to read from Haftorah, from these prophets, basically, right? So if he is going to start saying separate blessing, so people might assume that reading of this of the Chumash, meaning Moshe story, 5 books of Moshe is one thing, right? And this is additional thing. So we said no. He's going to make blessing on the Torah itself, last few psukim, and then he is going to read something else. So we said that Torah is the main part. This is additional. So even though they allowed us after some time to read from the Torah, we said we're not going to drop that tradition. We're going to keep reading Haftorah. He read it a little faster. We don't call all other people, only one person, but we still keep this tradition. Okay, let me read the last sentence and blessing, and we stop. So we say, rather the last of the number must be called up to the Torah, reads to Haftorah. So I mean, the number 7 is not number 8, is going to read from the Haftorah without reciting the blessing, accompany reading of Haftorah. So in this case, they say, don't make it seem like it's additional. 45. However, Haftorah reading or blessing began with 10. And some left, they complete the reading and recite the blessing following the Haftorah. Okay. So basically, but if they started the reading this Haftorah with the 10 people, and then somebody left, so they say no problem, you can finish reading and you can say blessings after the reading. So the point is, just to summarize, so if you finish with Minyan, with 10, so you can finish that section, that block, with even without Minyan, but with majority, which means 6. Okay. Any questions, please?
Yes. So in a Sefer Torah, not in a Sefer Torah, but with the Nevi'im, correct? Are you allowed to write it with, let's say, 2 books inside of one Sefer, inside of one scroll?
No.
Then I have a question. Then I have a question for you, because I know, I think the Gemara in Brachas talks about it, where I think it was Nehemiah and I think Ezra, the two books were counted as one, and then they were split into two. You understand?
Okay.
So then, I mean, if they were really one, then,
I see what you're saying. It was only one book, and it was exception. Like it was too long, and I don't remember exactly I read it just recently. I don't remember how they explain, but it was initially like I think planned as two books, but they combined into one. But it's basically one book. 2 books. It's not that. So some people were trying to do. We don't read complete book. So, for example, Yeshayahu, you don't read complete Yeshayahu. You read some like verses from that, like some sections. So some people try to do like compile only sections. What you need, not instead of like thick scroll, they would have a thinner scroll. That's what I think. I thought that you were asking. So they combine only things that they need to read, but our sages later on said it's not allowed. If you want to read it from the whole book, because it's disrespect. But when it's printed, like when we read today from the print, it's only section of the book whatever is need to be read. It's not the whole book. Okay. Any questions?
I'm good.
Abraham, you there? Maybe Abraham has questions.
I think he left.
He left? Okay, I didn't see. All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. So
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, and until so today's Thursday, until Sunday, 4 p.m. Okay? All right. All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.